The Start Your Own Business podcast. Hear inspiring startup stories and get reliable expert advice on how to start your business and get off to the best possible start. Brought to you by Startup Donut, helping small businesses succeed.
Hi there, thanks for joining us and welcome to the Start Your Own Business podcast. My name's Fiona and I'm your host. Many UK businesses, including thousands of small firms, are selling to customers in other countries. And although it can generate fantastic revenue and fuel significant growth, it does introduce some specific challenges. One of the key challenges for UK-based businesses is accepting payments in other currencies. This poses a number of possible pitfalls, especially if you lack experience and knowledge. You could end up paying sizable bank fees and charges and lose out on the opportunity to earn interest on your deposits. To provide UK small businesses with a better option, iFast Global Bank offers a multi-currency business account. So what is it? How does it work? And how does it benefit UK small businesses that are making and accepting payments from overseas? In this episode, we speak to Steve Chu. Steve is Head of Commercial Banking at iFast Global Bank. He explains what a multi-currency business account is and when your business might need one.
Running a business is tough and your bank should make things easier, not harder. If you're tired of long weekends of onboarding and endless paperwork, it's time for something better. iFast Global Bank is changing the game, a digital-first bank built for today's global businesses. With fully online onboarding and dedicated customer service, we get you set up fast so you can stay focused on growing your business. Still earning 0% interest on your business funds? With iFast Global Bank, you earn interest directly on your multi-currency business current account with no minimum balance requirements. Plus, enjoy flexible ways to grow your funds with fixed fees and notice deposits. Business fees may apply. And if you're operating across borders, we've got you covered. Access real-time FX, manage multiple currencies, and spend like a local with our business debit card for UK-registered entities. Let's reimagine banking together. Go to iFast Global Bank and open your business account today.
It's now time to meet our guest, Steve Chu. Steve is Head of Commercial Banking at iFast Global Bank Limited. So I wanted to begin, Steve, by talking about iFast Global Bank Limited. You're pretty new in the UK.
Yes, you're right. We're pretty new, but only limited in UK because as a group, iFast Corporate, our company is public listed in Singapore main board, and we public list since 2016. And also from the history of the whole group, we start our business back in 2000. So by that time that we have a huge exposure, and then we gain our business around all the Asia country, including Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and also China part. We have a huge influencing from that from in those regions, especially in those in the area of asset management and also about the wealth platform as well. So we are quite a pioneer in the DIY investment platform for our customer. We have our B2B model for the whole group. For the investor, just join to the online and then apply for their account, and then they can do every investment like shares, stocks, unit trusts, bonds through our platform. But in UK, yes, because we just acquired bank previously back in 2022, the group acquired bank which is previously called BFC Bank. Then we decide to have our more exposure on the banking side as well, another side of the financial institutions, because as a wealth management platform, I think that it's quite necessary for our strategic exposure and also our move into the banking platform. So UK will be the first one that we try to tap in, and then we successed, and then we acquired a bank back in 2022, and then we restructure and reform the bank into iFast Global Bank. So that's true. We're quite new to to the UK industry, banking industry.
But you got off to a great start because I understand that you won the Best Newcomer last year at the British Bank Awards.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for our client support and also all the team members. The efforts from the team members, because that's a quite tremendous achievement for the bank as well. Because we're quite new to the banking industry in UK, but at the same time that we can gain our exposure and also achieve something together with the team. So for that one, it's quite a significant achievement, especially for a newcomer just like us, because we want to bring in some new ideas for the UK banking industry. To be honest, from our perspective, the UK banking industry is especially dominated by the high street banks.
Mm,
It's a little bit old fashioned, I will use that way. The reason is because we want to input or we want to introduce a new banking system or new banking ideas, which to simplify every effort for the banking, including from personal banking side and also the business banking side, because we don't need to suffer from those high street bands like hidden fees or some tedious procedures for onboarding, and
yeah.
also for those product you have to segregate between the current account with no interest and also the savings account with the interest. So that kind of hustle, it also affecting our business account as well. So we want to integrate that and simplify the whole banking experience to our customer. Just one single account with multiple currency assets and with the interest bearing assets as well. So it will all be integrated into one account and then to enjoy the simplified version of the banking.
Is it fair to say that many UK businesses that are selling to customers overseas or buying even from overseas that need to accept non-sterling payments could get better rates from their bank accounts?
Yeah, definitely agree with that one, because there's a very recent example from my existing customer. We onboard them like 2 weeks ago, but they also share with us that they have another bank account in UK, which is not a high street bank but a digital bank. It's quite a challenging bank as well. But at the same time, that bank they used to bank with doesn't have the foreign currency capabilities.
Right.
When they are receiving the payments of US dollar, the bank have a forced conversion
Hmm.
and then convert all the US dollar back into the pounds account. And at the same time, the bank charge as well.
Yeah.
Then customer doesn't get any like advance notice for that one, because they think that the bank should be able to capture US dollar and then settle it in US dollar.
Yeah.
And then it will also be benefit for our customer receiving the US dollar or other currencies and then settling in the multi-currency account without any forced conversion, save the customers for the costing as well, and also for the next payment, because when they're trying to send out US dollar again in the future, they can directly deduct from the US dollar balance from our multi-currency account. So
Yeah.
that means saving the customer cost, and at the same time, when the time that you are settling in US dollar within our account, the US dollar can also generate interest for our customer. So it will be a win-win situations for our customer.
So, what kinds of businesses would benefit from having a multi currency account in your experience?
From my experience, to be honest, I think anyone can be benefit for this one. Because nowadays the global connections, the global business vision is not only limited to the UK company as well. Let's
Hmm.
say, for example, if I'm doing an e-commerce, I just started my business, most of my import will be coming from elsewhere outside UK, maybe from Euro region, maybe from China. I think that would be a very hot regions that they're doing the importing as well.
Yeah.
For those, most of the settlement or most of the transactions, they will not deal in pounds. They may
Yeah.
deal in other currencies. So even though you are a UK business dealing with e-commerce, then definitely the multi-currency account will help. But not limited to that as well. Because let's say, for example, I run a small restaurant, I run a small cafe in UK. Multi-currency account is just a name and a function, but core value for that one is the British pound account, of course, because
Hmm.
that will be the default account, the core account. And at the same time, even though you're just dealing with local business, local transactions, they can definitely benefit from that, because our business current account can offer pounds for the interest as well. So not only limited to multi-currency, but also benefit for the local business.
Yeah. I was thinking about it as well. Is that actually in the kind of modern working environment, is that actually lots of people aren't necessarily always working from one place or operating from one place? I know people who are, we use this term digital nomad, but
Yeah.
they're part of the year they're based here, part of the year they're based and they're working from maybe Spain or France or, another European country. and they'll have clients all over the EU region. And they need to make and receive payments. So those kinds of people too would benefit from multi-currency account, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. When you talk about the terms that digital nomad, I mean, I have a very close friend for myself, and then he is actually a digital nomad,
Mm.
and then he travel all around the place. They have the business set up in UK, but of course, almost 90% of their time they're not stationed in UK. They
Yeah.
may be stationed in Thailand, in Japan, in Euro countries,
Mm.
but at the same time, as long as you're a UK registered company, then you can also take the benefit from receiving all those different currencies. The
Yeah.
best part of our account is when you are UK bank, when you're a UK registered company, you can also apply for a debit card. So imagine today, you're now sitting in the beach, sun shining, enjoying sunshine in Thailand.
Yeah.
And at that time, that you can also use our multi-currency card for your local spending as well. Or maybe you're just next to the mountain Fuji when you're working in Japan, then you can have your multi-currency debit card for your daily spending from the company. So that will be a very huge achievement and also a huge benefit for those customers.
Yeah. So there's no foreign exchange fees there then.
Now, especially when you're holding the multi-currency, let's say for example Japanese yen, you have the Japanese yen in your deposit account, right? In our multi-currency account. Then every time when you use in Japan, it
Yeah.
would directly deduct from the Japanese balance. Of
Yeah.
course, if you don't have enough balance, they will always do a conversion from pounds. But the beauty part is if you consider to take the cash out from your Japanese deposit, right? Japanese yen deposit, we don't charge for anything. We don't
Yeah.
charge for additional costs. You can directly take out the cash, 10,000 yen, feel free to do so. And also, at the same time, that we don't charge additional FX conversion and also not additional charge for overseas cash withdrawal.
Yeah. So you can be saving considerable sums by having a multi-currency account.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of some other examples, for us personally as a company. We've had scenarios where we've got an ongoing scenario where we work with a partner overseas who works with web development for us. They're not based in this country. We've got a monthly direct debit going to them as a retainer, and that actually things like that would be much easier to pay them in their own currency if we had a multi-currency account, because you can transfer from these different pots of different currencies.
Exactly. And that's also a new initiative from our project team as well. So at this point that we only handle 9 different currencies, of course, but in the coming next month that we are going to deploy a new project, which allows our customer deduct from one of the 9 currencies and then sending out 50 plus different currencies,
Right.
including those hot places that we're going to live, Thailand, Philippines, Euro country as well, and
Yeah.
also some other different currency, even for Aussie dollar.
Yeah.
So you can imagine you can handle your business not only limit to the location as well. You can do it everything online through our account.
Yeah. And I imagine that's true not just for you making payments, but also receiving payments. I mean, I know we had a real tricky situation ourselves as a business where we had done a deal with a UK based business, and when they came to pay their invoice, actually the parent company that wasn't UK based was trying to pay us, and there were all kinds of nightmares in trying to find a way of receiving money that we were owed by this UK client. So
Yeah. I guess you also doesn't want to I mean you don't want to end up in the situation just like my client when you're receiving US dollar, the bank force conversion into pounds, and then there must be a hurt from your side as well.
yeah, you're losing out on your money, really.
Exactly.
The banks are taking a chunk. And I suppose another example is that actually, talking of digital nomads, is that actually, you might even have employees that work for you in other countries. And if you've got a multi-currency account, it's easier to pay those people too.
Yes, of course. Just like how I mentioned, so the multi-currency account can basically handle everything for you. So imagine that you can also have maybe your treasury team, your cash management team, they will be able to handle in different currencies. And also you can also have the control of when to do the conversion from your
Right.
side. So then all the rights, all the control will be on our customer hand. For example, like today, you don't think that the conversion rate from pounds to US dollar is right for you, then you can just keep it in pounds.
Yeah.
And for the next time that you think, oh, that's a very nice deal, then you can always do the FX conversion anytime you want through our account.
So let's talk a bit more about the multi-currency account then. What currencies can currently be paid into the account?
So total, we have 9 different currencies: pounds, of course, and also US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, Hong Kong dollar, CNY, Chinese renminbi, of course, and also CHF, and then AED. So those are very hot currencies that with the majority of the currencies. But of course, we are also looking to extend our currency base into Aussie dollar and also Canadian dollar as well.
Yeah. So basically all the major currencies that you might need to deal in are all covered by the multi-currency account.
Exactly.
So we've already talked about some of the benefits, but I wondered if you could go into a little bit more detail about what the benefits are to a small business for having a multi-currency account.
I think because we treasure our relationship with our customer, so we also encourage the startup bank, the startup company, and also some existing company as well. So because just like I mentioned previously, not only limited to those have a need of the multi-currency account to open a multi-currency account, but also benefit for the local business, because nowadays most of the bank out there, they don't really treasure about their customer relationship from my perspective, because they always introduce the AI, the customer service. You can only connect with them through like AI chatbot
Yeah,
or
yeah,
email, that kind of hustle. But for us, I mean, even for local business, they also can enjoy the interest rate. I think that would be the very benefit for the especially for the small SMEs,
yeah.
because we understand their business model. They only got like not much of the deposit with them, but at
Mm,
the same time that kind of working capital, they also need to handle their day-to-day transactions, paying off to their employees, paying off for the rental for their rental, and also paying off to some suppliers as well. But at the same time, that even though you're using that kind of like current account transaction pattern for your day-to-day capital management, we also can pay out for the interest for our customer. So
mm,
imagine today you are using other high street bank, your account sitting there with the deposit, let's say for example like 20k in their account. But you know that the account in there, you are going to do the in and out transaction quite frequently.
yeah,
Every day you still got some certain balance level with their account, they are not paying out for any interest. But for
mm,
us, we also understand, because you only have a little bit of a little chunk of money, but you need to handle so many different things. But we will encourage our local business to try our account. Then you can know that the benefit of paying interest from your working capital level. So
yeah.
it will create that kind of benefit, and also to help us to build up more trust level with our customer.
Yeah. So what we're saying basically is that with your multi-currency account, the benefits are not only related to the fact that you can, reduce the costs on your foreign exchange, or that you can make transfers to and from your account in different currencies more easily. It's actually about the benefits of using it as a local bank, that you've got that customer service that's on the doorstep, that you can speak to people rather than to a chat bot, and you can make money, even if you don't have, as you say, great amount of savings, you can make interest on the money that you have got deposited in your business account.
Exactly, because we're compared to other banks, we're not putting any tiering interest rate.
Mm,
So whenever you have any like even for £10, £100, or even a £1 million sitting in our current account, you can also enjoy the whole interest rate for the deposit that you hold with us.
yeah.
And also, I also encounter a very funny story from our customer as well, because when they are thinking about having a multi-currency account with other banks, most of the bank, they tend to separate into each currencies.
Yeah.
So for example, like I would like to have like US dollar with other banks. They will separate another new account for you, which is only dedicated for the US dollar. And at the same time, you can get a debit card from the US dollar account. But that means that you are holding one debit card from your pounds and the other debit card from your US dollar. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense for us, because that should be more like integrated. We're in a very technology advanced level right now. So we have the multi-currency debit card, which can also handle for multi-currencies. So that means you don't need to bear in mind that for next trip, which card do I need to take? So
Yeah.
one card will handle everything for you.
Yeah. So all of your money's essentially one pot. You haven't got to worry about where you're going and what currency you need. It's all there and you can access it from that one account and with the one card.
Exactly. But also not only for one account, because we can also have the flexibilities for our customer to open a separate multi-currency account.
Yeah.
Or if you want to be more specific for those, for example, like you have a counterparty in Asia country, for example, in Singapore, then you would like to have one special account for these transactions with this company, then you can also open up a separate single currency account
Yeah.
then also under your management. So it will help our customer, to segregate between their operating and also other special transactions type that they want to have.
And what sort of businesses would that approach suit then?
I think that it will be more relevant to some, bigger profile company because when they're dealing with multinational counterparties overseas, if
Mm.
they want to have a specific account, or easier for them to do the reconciliations as well. Because when you're receiving that, you know that that specific account it's only assigned to that counterparty.
Yeah.
So in that way, they can have all the transactions history, all the in and out that dealing with that specific company and
Yeah.
that would definitely help for their accounting side or also the reconciliation side as well.
Yeah. Or I suppose, if you've got a particular country where you're doing a great deal of your trade that's a foreign currency account, then, or foreign currency rather, that having a specific account for that currency would be beneficial to you because you can do all the transactions there in one place.
Exactly, that's true, that's very true.
Yeah. So, how can a small business open one of your multi currency accounts? Do they need to apply? Is there an application process? Does that take, how long does that typically take?
So normally we have, if you're a UK registered company, right? So single structure, that means that the holding, the there's only like UBO on top of your, it doesn't have any like holding company structure.
Yeah.
So that we consider that as a simple structure. So register in UK, I mean the company house, and then we have your record on there. On the company house, then you can go to our online portal, directly type in your company name or your business registration number, and then all the information will be fetched from the company house directly into our account into our applications. And that way that you can also apply and submit some documents, of course for the company relevant documents, and also from your IDMV to do the verification of the individual. That's it. There's the whole all applications process.
Yeah.
And normally it would take 1 to 2 days for very simple structured company.
Yeah.
Then most of our company, I can also give you one example because we help another new startup company. They got their business registrations with company house a week before, right? And then on that day they approach us, and then on this after 2 days we successfully open and onboard them with their business account.
Yeah.
So we're only talking about from the start, from nothing to having a bank account just within a week. So
Yeah.
that will be a very like that effective from our onboarding team as well.
Yeah. So is it just limited companies that could open an account with you? What if you were a sole trader or a freelance? Could they open an account with you?
Currently, the sole trader or freelance, we don't support on that part, but definitely we will look into that if we can constantly receive the needs from our customer or from our prospect.
And are there any restrictions on the types of limited companies that you would work with? Do they have to be a specific size, or are there any sectors that you wouldn't work with, for example?
For the sector-wise size, of course, we can take any size. But for
Yeah.
the sector-wise, of course, if you are a financial regulated business, we have another dedicated team, which is called transaction banking team.
Yeah.
So they will help you to, I mean, they will help us to handle every financial institution company.
Yeah.
But for other than the financial institution company, if the account, I mean, the company house status is active, not dormant, of course,
Yeah.
then we'll be able to onboard.
Yeah, okay. So any limited company in the UK then, by the sounds of
Exactly.
things.
Correct.
And what about fees and charges? Because that's obviously something that's a massive concern for businesses. Anyone who's got the time and is savvy about where their business money's going, they don't want to be paying out small fortunes in fees. So what are the typical fees for your bank accounts then?
So let's say, for example, if we're onboarding like an SME size, less than 7 million annual turnover. So for that specific type of customer, we do have a monthly fee for £5,
Yep.
considerably, I mean, quite competitive with other banks,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
for those challenger bank as well. But the beauty thing is we don't charge for any inbound transactions. Let's say, for example, today you are receiving the faster payment from other UK bank into your bank account. we don't charge for anything. Even for the international payments, when we're receiving some counterparty overseas, and then we don't charge for any inbounds.
Yeah.
For outbounds, of course, faster payment is almost a free for our for is free for our all customers, all customer type. So for when you're doing domestic payment, we don't charge for any domestic payment fees. But of course, when we're doing some international remittance, then we will have £25 each for each transactions. It
Yeah.
depends on the needs of the customer and then the frequency or the volume, how much the customer is doing per month.
Yeah.
But of course, other than that, the £5, monthly fee, I would like to talk about a little bit more, because if you keep an average deposit balance over 10K in our account every month,
Yeah.
then the £5 can be waived as well
Yeah.
automatically. So completely like a free account if you keep 10K above
Yeah.
with us. And the 10Ks, you can also enjoy the interest rate. So it will be like a win-win. So
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
save from your monthly fees and also earn the interest.
What's not to love about that?
Yeah. I think because, when you're running a business, especially, you do have some surplus or like a backup cash where
Yeah.
for some emergency happens, right? So that will be a normal practice for most of the business out there. So
Yeah.
10K, we said that because we would like to we introduce that benefit to our customer,
Yeah.
and at the same time that we would like to become their main bank for the transactions, regardless whether you need to deal with multi-currency or just pound sterling, you can also enjoy the same benefit. So 10K will be not really a minimum because you can choose not to deposit 10K.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you maintain that balance with us, £5 can be waived.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you as well, I understand you have some savings options available. I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. For the savings options, definitely we have many different choice. For example, like when we're talking about like normal time deposit, for example, our customer will be able to choose for their cash management. So for the saving part, we do have different types of fixed term deposit. So from any currencies that out of the 9 currencies that we're offering, except for CHF, because CHF, everyone knows that they're almost like zero interest at this point. But our customer can go to our online portal once they've been on board and then choose their own tenor from 1 month to 36 months, and also across 8 different currencies except for the CHF, of course. Then the highest rate that we can with the customer can enjoy for US dollar and also for pounds will be 3.75 AER. So
Mm.
which is considerably a quite attractive one, especially
Yeah.
given that the decreasing the interest rate trend.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you tell us how currencies are, going back to the multi-currency account, how you go about converting your currencies?
So for the FX part, we do have our integrated platform. So anytime the customer can do their FX conversion 24/7 through our platform. So basically, you can just choose which currencies that you want to deduct from, convert from, and also the credit from another currencies as well. So basically, you can do it like for 24/7, and I can assure you that our conversion rate is quite competitive as well. Because for me, I've been studying. I'm the one that helping to set up the whole platform and also the whole systems. How can I say that? I don't want to, tell everyone about our margin, but definitely for sure, when you're comparing with other players in the market like Wise, Revolut, and we are very very competitive. It's quite close to the
Mm.
Wise conversion rate as well. And then not to mention about when we're comparing with those high street bands when they're charging like 1 or 2% for the FX conversion, then for us, we definitely have a very competitive market in here.
So you mentioned Wise. How does an iFast business multi-currency account differ from the services offered by someone like Wise?
Um, first of all, Wise, technically, they're not a bank. For us, we are a fully regulated UK bank. Of course, the FSCS protections will be here for all our customer. Now, starting from last year, and the FSCS protections increase from 85,000 to 120,000 now.
Yeah.
So definitely, that will be a very attractive point for all our customer because
Yeah.
we are a bank, right?
Yeah.
And also comparing with Wise, we don't ask the customer to do the conversion for them to send out the money. So most of the wise business model, they can do like FX conversion, then they will be able to send out the money.
Yeah.
But for us, definitely you can send out any currencies that you want. So out of the 9 currencies, let's say for example, today you want to send out US dollar, you don't need to do any conversion. Basically,
Yeah.
you can just directly send out the US dollar or even euro. If you want to send out the euro, directly go for the euro account and then send it out. We don't ask the customer to do any conversion before they send out the money
Yeah. Yeah.
internationally. And also for the multi-currency account, I would say that uh, even for Wise, they also offer interest rate for their multi-currency account, especially for pounds or for US dollar.
Mm.
But just bear in mind that because they're not a bank, they also have an other business partners to partner with. So technically, their account offering the interest rate, it's not really a saving interest rate or current account interest rate because
Right.
they're offering through other investment product. So that's what I learned from other competitors and also like Wise. They have their beauty part, which is the very fast channel to send all the money. But at the same time, that on the protection wise, I think that as a bank in UK, the FSCS protection and also the facilitating of sending out the same currency will be definitely benefit to our customer.
Yeah. So for anyone, just to sort of clarify, for anyone who's not kind of familiar with the FSCS scheme, is that will protect your money should a bank disappear for whatever reason, up to £120,000 per bank account that you have with a UK authorised bank. So if anyone's feeling slightly nervous about, oh, well, I've never heard of this bank before, actually, because you're regulated, they have exactly the same protections as they would have if they were banking with one of the high street banks. So to give people that reassurance that you've got that protection, and that's for each account that you hold. So £120,000 per account. So that's a real kind of reassurance for people that might be feeling like, oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you'll be surprised that I mean, for most of our when we're doing some pitching sessions with our prospect, and then they can see that I always encourage our customer to go to FSCS, the bank list. Then you
Yeah.
can definitely see our name on that one
Yeah. Yeah.
together with like HSBC, Lloyds Bank, Barclays, some familiar banking. I mean the brands of the bank. Then
Yeah.
iFast will also be is also be there as well.
Yeah, because it's not unheard of for banks to go belly up. We've for those of us who are slightly older, slightly longer in the teeth, when there's been financial crises, you've seen financial bodies disappear. So,
Yeah.
for people that have got money tucked away in a bank account, that to have that reassurance is good.
Yeah.
So something else I wanted to ask you about is we've talked a lot about making payments, but what about accepting payments in other currencies? What pieces of advice would you share with our listeners in terms of accepting overseas payments?
Honestly, because the overseas payment, it always depends on which channel that you're going through. So let's say we take a very simple example when you're receiving, let's say Japanese yen from your counterparty. So normally the bank, if you are sending out from the bank, one Japanese bank to our UK bank, so normally it will go through SWIFT. So in through the whole SWIFT process, there will be some different counterparties in between.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be some correspondent bank, intermediate bank. But for us, like a bank in UK, iFast Global Bank doesn't charge for those, receiving fees. Other
Mm-hmm.
banks does sometimes because when you're sending out the money in different currencies, and then of course the bank will need to have a cut of that part. But for us, we don't charge for that one.
Yeah.
So definitely it will be some cost savings for our customer. And at the same time, that just like I mentioned, 9 currencies that we can also directly accepting. So that means that when you're receiving a counterparty in in one of the 9 currencies, it will settling into the multi-currency account directly
Mm-hmm.
without any additional fees or without any FX conversion. So imagine for the next time when you're receiving the Japanese yen into your account, then you can always have your own choice when and how to do the conversions. So we
Yeah.
doesn't force our customer to do the conversion, and also, when customer they know that after several months they need to pay back in Japanese yen. If today you are receiving Japanese yen in your account and you can keep it and then also put it into the multi-currency account and then keep it for the next payment.
Yeah.
So it avoid the cost of the FX conversion when you're receiving and also sending out. That will be one of the very best benefit. And at the same time that during the waiting period, you can also enjoy the Japanese yen interest rate. So it will have a boost of your, additional income for your working capital.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you got any other tips for people that might be receiving overseas currency and payments?
I think that better to check. I mean, of course, I know that all the audience, not every audience is banking with iFast Global Bank. But for us, I mean, for the advice, I think that you better check with your existing banking partner
Hmm.
whether they can accept foreign currencies or not.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, and the major currencies is pound, especially in that case, then the bank, I mean the banking partner you're banking with, definitely they will have a high chance that to do the forced conversion into pounds.
Yeah.
Of course, you can still receiving Japanese yen from your counterparty, but then once the Japanese yen touch on the bank level, then they will force conversion into pounds. So better to check with your existing banking partner and
Yeah.
see whether they can accept foreign currencies or do they have any like the forced conversion
Yeah.
surface. But also one point to aware is the forced conversion rate. Because for some banks, they're very transparent. They will state that how much they're going to charge for those forced conversion. The most common cost for me I saw from the UK market is around 1% for the forced conversion.
Yeah.
But then, of course, different banks varies. They can charge more or less than that. But that part will be also a hidden cost for the transactions.
Yeah. So look carefully at what you're currently being charged, because there's every possibility you'll be able to get better rates.
Correct.
And if you've got a lot of transactions going on from different currencies, you could potentially save yourself, a sizable sum of money. And
Exactly.
if you've got the money sat there, like you say, you can then send it back out again. You haven't got to make those currency transactions. You can keep the currency in whatever it needs, and then you've got it there on standby, and it's all in one pot together.
That's very true.
So a final question from me is, where can our listeners find out a bit more about iFast Global Bank?
Of course, our website is always open for our customer and even from our prospect for anyone interested in our bank. So our website is www.ifastgb.com. So after you go to our website, then you can always click to the business sections and then find out commercial banking. And all of our features, our service and product will be listed on our website. At the same time that you can also review the terms and conditions and also the fee schedule as well, because we are quite transparent and then we open up the fee schedule publicly to our customer. But of course, if you're interested, you can also follow our Instagram, LinkedIn, and also Facebook page. By there, you can always send a message to us if you got any additional questions that you would like to understand more. And then our customer service team and also myself will be able to get from there, and then we'll be start to connect with you, and then that's how it starts.
Perfect. Well, we'll make sure that we include all of those links in the summary notes that will accompany this episode. But all that remains to say, Steve, is thanks for talking to us today. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
These days, in an increasingly connected world, we're more and more likely to be working with overseas suppliers, customers, and employees. Doors that would previously have been closed are now open, and you can just as easily work with a contractor in the US, India, or the EU as someone from Milton Keynes. And e-commerce has meant that even the smallest of firms can be buying from or selling to clients from across the world. Making payments to and receiving payments from overseas partners should also be just as simple, and that's where iFast Global Bank can help out. If you're looking for the convenience of making and receiving payments without the sting of costly FX fees and bank charges, or a way to earn interest on your deposits, Steve has explained how iFast Global Bank could be the solution you need. We'll include links to iFast Global Bank website and socials, as well as useful advice and resources related to this episode in the summary notes, and you can find these at www.startyourownbusinesspodcast.co.uk. If you've enjoyed the show, please hit follow so that you're notified of new episodes as soon as they drop. All that remains is to thank Steve for taking the time to talk to us again today. Until next time, all the best.